Zoom call was scheduled for 11:30, and I do realise that many of you, if not all of you, are in schools at the moment. So, right. Well, I'll begin by telling you who I am, first of all. I know that many of you probably get annoying emails off me every month and may never have met myself or met Pádraig or any of the team. So my name is Stephen Keane. I am editor, founder of Newsmag Media, and editor of Primary Planet. We also have Newsflash, we have Epic, and now we have a new magazine called The Fact Factory. But one of the taglines on the magazine is that it's no ordinary magazine, and really it isn't. So much so that we felt we could just put together maybe a 5 or 10 minute information session on the magazine and show you how it works and why we've spent so long and put in so many hours producing it. It's here for the right reasons, there's no doubt about that. And I think that SET teachers and every school will recognise, and teachers in the schools will recognise, that it has a role to play. So, right, for those of you who don't know, the Newsmag Media, as you can see, that's our company. We have been operating since 2011. And as I said, most of you are already subscribed customers. You're getting the Primary Planet or Newsflash or Epic to your school, which is great. I know there might be one or two that are on the mailing list that maybe connected with us during COVID and don't actually get the newspapers. So check them out if you don't get them. I think the teachers that do get them usually give us a fairly resounding thumbs up. Not us, but the magazines and what to do for their children in terms of reading. But that's who we are. With regards to the Fact Factory, we began this, believe it or not, in 2020, actually 2019. And our first meeting with the Dyslexia Association of Ireland was the day that Leo Varadkar announced the lockdown for schools. So that'll just give you an idea of how long this has been, I suppose, developing. It was unfortunate timing, but the lockdown helped us to focus on the product and gave us a lot of time to get things right. And it takes a lot of time to get something like the Fact Factory right. So in hindsight, it was probably something that benefited us. But we met with the Dyslexia Association of Ireland in 2020. We also met with the NCBI, the National Council for the Blind of Ireland. And they were going to be our two stakeholders from the very beginning that would help us create, develop, and make the Fact Factory the most accessible magazine in the world. And it really is. And that's not so much a badge for us, but maybe it's an indictment on how accessible print magazines are. And by their very nature, they are accessible to readers, to people who can read, to people who have a good grasp of the English language. Of course, they're accessible to children with dyslexia. We like to write in simple terms. A lot of the time we get away with doing that, but in true accessibility, it is so much different. I mean, you're talking about readers, cohorts of readers out there that have dyslexia, of course, visually impaired, reluctant readers, children with EAL, and maybe now more than ever, we have this influx of children who don't have English as their first language, but we need to make sure that there are texts, that there are books, not just magazines, but reading material out there that they can connect with. So maybe I should show you, that is why you're here, show you what the magazine looks like. So as you can see, it looks just like any ordinary magazine. It looks exactly like our Primary Planet or Newsflash. It's a 40-page magazine, and it is a large print magazine, as you can see there. So the font size is 18 and upwards, and for a large print magazine it needs to be a font size of 16 or above. So these are all features of the magazine that have been implemented with purpose and with advice from bodies such as the DAI and the NCBI. So what it is a monthly magazine, just like our other publications, but there's 12 in the year. And again, I've already touched on it, and I don't want to keep repeating myself, but the reason we've worked hard to get this to where we are right now is because we want everybody to experience what avid and fluent readers do. And I remember somebody, sorry, if anybody is just joining, can they just mute themselves just in case of interference? So if I just give you, and this isn't a kind of a rehearsed point, but it is true. So at home, we have 4 kids, right? And they all read. And no more than when you're in a class as a teacher, and I should say that I taught up until 5 years ago, I took a career break. So I am a primary school teacher by trade as well. So I do know what the classroom looks like and feels like. And I think if you look down, if you give your children dear time and you look down and you see children of every level engaged in the book, it always will give you a good feeling. And same at home, if you saw your children away from the screens for a little while and they're curled up on the couch or in their bed and they're reading, you always feel if you've done nothing else right in life, you've done that right and that you've instilled a love of reading. And that got us thinking, it's not that I have a child with dyslexia, it's not that I have a child with visual impairment, but it got us thinking about families that do have children with dyslexia or visual impairment or reluctant readers. How can they enjoy what I get to enjoy as a teacher and as a parent? And that was the starting point, is how to get something that everybody of every ability can access and enjoy, because that's what it's all about. This magazine won't teach a child how to read. I mean, you need a teacher for that, but it will instill a love of reading and it will make a connection with reading that we think no other magazine can do at the moment because of the restrictions that print alone have. So what I'll do is I'll show you this in action. Okay. So, and again, this is why the information call would be important to do, because I could share screens and I'd be able to show you PDFs, but unless you see it in action and picture a child in your school or in your class or in your group that you think would benefit, I think it'll make a very easy connection with that child that you have in mind. So I'm just going to stand up here. So as I said, print magazine, but it comes with a pen. So this is a pen. This is called the Grid Mark III pen. It's a Japanese product. We partnered with the Japanese tech firm and we are now in partnership with them to roll out the Fact Factory. So like most things Japanese, this is very good quality. And it really is. It's very well built. And while it might look like a simple concept, there's quite a bit of smarts gone into the technology behind it. So the first thing that a child does, so imagine you order this for your SET group or for your resource room or indeed for your classroom. The first thing that a child will do is they'll have to activate the pen. So to activate the pen, you just come along and you just press this button. And once this button turns green, the pen is now on. Okay. And every magazine, so I'm just going to stand in front because it's just easier to do this. Every magazine has an activation point on the cover. Okay. So children will learn this, as will teachers, that the first thing you do to turn on your pen, it's like the button on your TV, you'll tap your pen off that. And when you do, you'll hear this sound. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it up. Now the best results, if I had a child using the Fact Factory, if possible, I would plug in my headphones into the little port here and let them experience the personal level of the reading through headphones. But as you're about to see, it'll work through the speaker in the pen as well. So the pen is now activated. And as you can see, we have audio points marked throughout the magazine. So if we just look at this page here, so there are 6 characters in every magazine. There's Andy, Izzy, Brody, Heidi, Saeed, and Brooke. And at the front of each magazine, for the first few issues till the kids get to know the characters, we have a little bio on each of them. So if you come along and if you just tap your pen.
Hi there, my name is Andy and I'm crazy about animals. Visit Andy's Animals each month and gobble up the most fascinating facts on animals of every shape and size. There's no creature too big, no animal too small.
So as you can see that the pen is synced with the audio and the audio is synced with the text. So every single word in the magazine, in the 40 pages of the magazine, is recorded by the 6 children. So as I said, there's Andy, there's different characters. So Andy, each month Andy talks about animals. He features the giraffe in this month's issue. Izzy does insects. Brody does the body. Heidi does history. So heroes from history, famous people. Who else is there? There is Saeed does Sea Creatures and Brooke does Famous Buildings. So again, I'll just show you a demo. So a child will come along and they have control. And the reason we've split it into fact boxes is, one, to make it bite-sized so that children, marginalized readers, are not overwhelmed by content. So we've broken it down. But it also gives a great sense of independence and control to the reader, so they can come along and decide which fact boxes they want. It doesn't read from start to finish, and we purposely did that so that the reader has control and sets the pace. So we'll take fact box number 5 here, and we just tap it.
Fact number 5. The prickly leaves of the acacia tree are giraffe's favorite thing to eat.
Okay, and then if you see in fact number 5, and I hope this demo is working okay for you guys, because it's probably a little bit awkward holding the magazine up like this when people are so used to sharing screens, but you'll see that the acacia tree is highlighted in bold. And basically what this is a glossary of terms that we have built into the audio. So there isn't an explanation in print anywhere on the magazine for an acacia tree, but if the child taps
acacia tree. The acacia tree is a fast-growing tree that can be found in many hot countries around the world.
Okay, and that shows, so I'll just sit down for the moment, that shows how the glossary works. So basically a child has full control over the audio and over the dictation or the pace of which they want to read. And what we have found, and we've tested this in the dyslexia associations, in the visually impaired groups, that children tend to use both. So very few children, if any, actually in our feedbacks ever engaged with the audio but looked away. So they're engaged with the audio through their headphones, but they're always looking at the text. And many of them have said that they've used the text while they've read in their head. So that's why we said that you can read the magazine without any pen, of course. You can listen to it, but most importantly, you can read along. And I think that's going to be key for improving children's reading, and that's not even going towards the whole notion of reading for pleasure or that love of reading. So that's how the pen works. I'm just trying to think now, is there anything else that I need to show you on the pen? Again, there's 40 pages of just such simple but really interesting content. There's Brodie. I'll show you the middle pages, actually. It's probably the most impressive pages in it. So there's a number of fact boxes all about the brain. Brodie will take you through that. Now, one very, very important feature, but it might not be relevant to many of you, is the ability for a visually impaired child to know where to touch the pen. And although this solution is very, very simple, it took an awful long time to find a printer who could actually do it. So that what they're doing is, we have the magazine here and we've spot printed with varnish the audio icons. So that means that if you're looking at the magazine here, you can actually run your finger across, so it's pure smooth as any magazine is, but the minute you hit the audio icon, it's raised off the page, which means that a visually impaired child, all they have to do is to just feel for the audio icons, and they can feel them very, very easily. There's nothing else raised off the page. So these audio icons almost jump off the page, if you like, to them. And that just shows them where the activation points are for each of the...
Hello, Facts Fan.
That's Brodie.
My
Yeah.
name is Brooke.
Okay, so that's the magazine. I hope that that's enough to show you, and it probably is. I mean, I can't keep talking and talking about this. You turn off if you haven't already. But that's how it works. And now what we come to is, if you want, so what we're hoping to do is, we want schools across Ireland and we want libraries to stock a kit, a reading kit of the Fact Factory. I know as a teacher, but I think everybody, whether or not you can find the budget for it, right? That's immaterial right now. But there isn't one teacher, I'd imagine, on this Zoom call who doesn't have the name of at least one, and probably loads of children in their school who would benefit from the kit. So our vision is to get a kit into each school. And once the kit goes in, so let's say it's launching in July. So that means that issue number 1 is ready to go in July. But because of Irish schools being the way they are, they won't open until September. So if you were to place an order, or if your SET was to place an order for the Fact Factory reading kit. What they would get in September is they would get like a pizza box. Okay, a big cardboard pizza box, and they'd open up the box, and inside the box there'd be an insert that will eventually house the 12 magazines from the year. But in September there's 3 issues done, so anybody who orders now for September will receive the pizza box, nice collection box to keep them safe. There's a little box inside there for the pen, and then there's a bigger space to house the magazines, and you'll come with 3 magazines. That'll be July, August and September. And then every month thereafter, up until June, we would post out the newest issue of the Fact Factory. That's how it works. It's going to cost €145. Now, we're talking with revenue at the moment to see about a VAT. At the moment, that's ex-VAT, but their feedback is that we're going to have to apply a VAT rate to that. But for now, they're €145. But, and again, this isn't a sales pitch. It will have to go up because revenue will demand that we put VAT on that. But for now, it's €145. Again, our vision is that a school finds the money to bring a kit into their SET room or into their classroom. Is there anything else that I need to include in that? I'll tell you what, I've probably talked for long enough. If you have any questions, I can open up the Zoom call for questions. Maybe you can give me a thumbs up if you have a question. I can unmute you and you can ask it. Or if you want to email or in the comments, you can pop in comments, and what I'll do is I'll address them all in an email and send them out to all of you who have been on the call, and I'll forward it with anybody who's asked for the recorded call. So if you don't want to ask a question here, that's fine, but please email us the questions. We are more than happy to help. We're more than happy to give you as much information as we can on it. So the chat's there. Is that for a year? Yeah, it is for a year. So there's 12 magazines in total. So what we want to do is, because we want to sell this in the UK, we want to sell it elsewhere, we've decided to begin in July. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It means maybe if you're on board for this year and for next year, you can allow a child to bring it home for the summer. Or, as I said, if you order now, it comes with 3 magazines in September to kickstart the year. But there's 12 in the year, not 10 like the Primary Planet and other publications. So if I have a few children in a group, I will only have 1 copy of a magazine. I would have to buy a few kits to have a few copies. Yeah, that is correct. The kit has 1 magazine in it, and it comes with the pen. And that's how, it's the only way that it's viable for us. You can buy 2 kits, or you can buy a magazine prescription or subscription, I should say, without the kit. But you're looking at still, it'd be €9 per magazine for the audio magazine. But again, if you want me to go through prices, if you're looking at multiple orders of the kits or 2 or 3 kits, just email me and we will do our very, very best for you. But because it's starting off, we can make no apologies for it. The kit comes 1 magazine and 1 pen and 12 magazines in the year. Is there a particular age range? Yeah, so we've pitched this at anywhere from 7 to 11. I have a child in 6th, and she loves it, but she's probably a little bit too old for it. I have a boy in 4th, loves it, but I also have a girl in senior infants, and she has no print disability whatsoever, and she laps it up. And the reason she laps it up is she can't read it fully, but she's able to engage, and that's the magic of the audio. But we're pitching at this from 7 to 10 or 11. Can pens be bought separately, and at what price? Well, the pens aren't that much good to you without our content on it. What could they be used for? Well, they could be used for recording maybe, but right now we offer the pen as the with the magazine. And I should say, guys, I'm after leaving out a really important feature. If you just bear with me for 1 second. On the back, I've shown you how you can listen to the magazine, but also there's a feature on the pen. I can't believe I've forgotten this because this would be so good for teachers to record. So a child can come along and press the record button on the pen and read a fact and then tap the pen just with one tap. They tap the pen off this record icon and their reading gets recorded and saved to that button. So their teacher might say to them, I want you to practice 3 facts tonight, record them on the pen and save them to the fact that you read, and I'll listen to it in the morning. And if I just show you a demo of that, guys, just to show that it does work very, very easily. You press the blue button on the pen. Now maybe the pen is turned off. Okay, so I have the pen back on, so I need to activate it. Bear with me now, guys, and I'm nearly finished. So now it's activated, and let's say you give your student or your pupil the task of reading fact number 1 tonight. So the first thing they might do is to listen to it.
Fact number 1.
I'll turn it up.
Giraffes are the tallest land mammals in the world and can grow to over 6 meters in height.
And then the child, if their activity is to read that fact and to practice it tonight, they press the blue button. It's now recording. So I'm going to go fact number 1. Giraffes are the tallest land mammals in the world and can grow to over 6 meters in height. And when I'm finished, it's now recording. So I'm going to go fact number 1. Giraffes are the tallest land mammals in the world and can grow to over 6 meters in height. And when I'm finished. Okay, and that was me recording. But the pen continues to work as normal.
Fact number 1. Fact number 3.
It's now recording, and that's saved. Fact number 1. And so my recording is saved on the magazine. And guys, what we love most about this is that, especially for visually impaired children or for children who might find it difficult to read their homework, and everything is so much instructions are given written that you can have a little note to the child to encourage reading. It can be a homework activity, or it can be a note to the parent to say that, you know, Billy did excellently in his group today. He read well, and now he's going to read fact number 5 for you. So it can be used as a communications tool between school and home or school and pupil. So C pens don't work with it. It's totally different technology. C pens, I suppose, by their nature will read any text, but they don't have the audio that is in the Fact Factory. The audio in the Fact Factory, and I think this is one of the world's first, is that it's recorded by real kids. And the C pen, as brilliant as it is, and it is a brilliant tool, it is AI, it's assistive technology voicing. So what we see and what the NCBI have definitely seen the potential is that this pen acts as a stepping stone for AI technology, but it's recorded with children's voices for the children. So hopefully that improves the connection between child and voice. Right, I think that's probably enough. I'll tell you what, if there's an earphone, the pen can be connected to the earphones, but I realize I've probably kept you long enough. If there's any other questions that you have, we'd be more than happy to answer them in an email afterwards. The pen can be ordered through the website, or if you want to order through ourselves, just email myself, Stephen @newsmagmedia.ie, or Pádraig @newsmagmedia.ie. We totally understand if you need time to think about this, absolutely, but please get in touch and ask us anything you want. Thanks so much, everybody. My first Zoom information session ever. I hope it was okay for you. I hope it didn't go on too long. And most importantly, I hope you now have a clear idea of how the Fact Factory works. Thanks so much, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.